Hi and welcome to another 5-minute session, and this time I will explain 3 very commonly used words that is used when you're creating stuff like this, and it's texture, it's shader and it's material. So let's go through it by adding a UV sphere to begin with, so you have something to show it on. So Shift A, Mesh and a UV sphere, and we can also go to Object and select Shade Smooth, so we get a nice surface. And the first thing we should add now is a background image called HDRI, because that will give light to our environment and to the model, and also reflections that we need later on. So to find that, you can just go to Google, search for it, or go to polyhaven.com/HDRIS. And here you can just download whatever you want that we can use later on. And as soon as you download it, just go back to Blender again. And when you're in Blender, go to this word properties and to the yellow point here, and you select environment texture. And you open that texture that you found that you would like to use. So now we have that in, and we need a material for our UV sphere, so I just press new here. So now we have a material here. I will first of all just disconnect this. And the first word is texture. So what is a texture? Well, it's just a pattern that you're doing for your material. So everything we have done so far is texture. So when you use the internal texture, like brick texture or something like that, or if you just use math, or if you take an image that already exists and put that in with the pattern, then you have a texture. So if, let's say now I press Shift A here, go to texture, so you can see it says texture, and take a noise texture. Then you can just drag the factor into the surface, and we have a texture on this final result. The final result, that is the material. So when you use a texture and a shader and get a result out that we then render, that will be material. So you can say material is the final product, but the glue between texture and material is the shader. The shader contains all the math that you need to get reflection, to get correct light on it, to get it if it's metallic or not, to get if it should have transparency, and all that stuff. That is math to calculate so it looks real in our rendered view here. It doesn't need to be real. There are other ways to do stuff as well, but we get all the reflections and all the light in our model. And if I now press Shift A, you can see that we have a lot of shaders here. The one that we normally use is the principled BSDF, but that is more like a collection of shaders, and it was not there from the beginning in Blender. It came rather late. I think we come with Blender 2.8. So we have let's say more pure shaders here, like glass, exactly the reflection for glass, how you can see through glass, the index of refraction, how much the light is bent and so on, that you have in the glass shader. So that's like a pure shader. But since it's hard to mix all these together in the right way, Blender decided to go for something simple, and then you use the principle most of the time. And a principle shader, when I put that in, then you can see we get some reflection on our UV sphere here, because that is the roughness here. So if I take that up a bit, you can see we get even more reflection, and if I take it up even more, you can see it's really, really shiny. And also you can tell if it's have metallic or not, and you can combine those things. And we have a lot of other stuff in here. So subsurface, it's like organic things where you don't have reflection directly on the surface, but also a few millimeters below the surface. We have a lot of other stuff here. We will go through those later on. Just so you know now that texture, that is the pattern. Shader is the math that creates all the reflection, the correct lighting and everything you need. And material, that is the result that you get out here when you mix texture and shader and all the options that you have. Okay, so that was my 5 minutes, and now you have a brief understanding of these 3 words. Hope to see you tomorrow, and I say bye for now.